Well, I've already talked about the men folk. I'm going to talk about the women folk. Oh boy. There is interesting things about me. I don't know how to say this without sounding crazy. Long ago. Oh, should I even talk about that? I don't know if I should talk about that. No, I don't think I'll talk about that. No, I won't talk about that. Okay, well, I said I'm going to talk about the women folk, so I'm going to do that. Why do I call them women folk? I had a... Well, I think I'll start with my ex-wife, actually. When I met my ex-wife way back when, a long time ago, she wasn't nice. No, she was nice when I first met her. It was all a scam, but, she was nice when I first met her. And the thing is, I knew her for a little bit online, and then I actually drove 4 hours all the way into the hills of New York just to meet her and, well, bang the living shit out of her. And it was, oh man, I'm such a perv. It's like I want to go into detail on that, but it's just funny. It was just a comical kind of thing. But anyway, God, sex just totally derails my fucking mind every time, doesn't it? Deep breath. But yeah, I drove 4 hours to meet this chick, and, pretty much it was just banging for 4 days straight. I mean, literally. And it's like, I was up there for just a little bit, a few hours, and she goes, something's happening here. And I'm like, what? And she goes, okay, I don't want you to think I'm crazy, but I can see things. And, I point out to her that my whole life has been like that. I've seen and felt things all my life. So, there's nothing crazy that she can say that I will not believe. And she goes, well, here's the thing. She goes, I see dark things. And quite a bit. And right now, they're livid. They are pissed off that you are talking to me. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. She goes, these dark things, are absolutely angry that you are talking to me right now. And I'm like, why? And she goes, I don't know, but they really hate that you are here now, and we're communicating. And, I'm like, huh, and it kind of ends right there. I mean, there's not much more to that story. Fast forward many years later, her and I are splitting up, and I'm talking to chicks online. I'm starting to realize that I'm actually halfway desirable, which shocked me because, when you go through a decade and some years of belittling, you start to believe shit. But anyway, so I'm messing with chicks online and stuff, and, okay, well, I'm a furry online. And I'm on some furry nude beach place, on IMV or whatever. And there's all these people grouped together, all these other furries. Boy, this story took a weird turn, didn't it? And all the way down at the other end of the beach, I see two people standing there, and one of them's this tall dragon person. And I bring my avatar over to there, and I greet them, and I immediately just have my avatar make the motion like it's putting my hand on their belly. And they're like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I don't know, it just seemed like the right thing to do. I go, I feel like it hurts there or something. And she's like, it does. And she's like, but I don't want to talk about it. And I go, endometriosis? And she's like, yes, that's what I have. I have endometriosis. I mean, how would you even know that? They're like, do I know you? I'm like, no, we've never met before. And she's like, well, what the fuck? How do you know what I'm feeling? I go, I don't know. I've just done this before. I mean, it's not the first time that I've walked into a place and known something about someone. I go, but I don't know. It just felt like the right thing to do. She goes, right now, my stomach, my whole, pelvic area is killing me from this. Like, I'm in such torturous pain right now. And here you are walking up and touching my belly. She's like, what are you? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just a horny bastard, And, so we headed off a bit, and, we're messing around and stuff. And we're messing around for, a couple hours. And what do you think she says? She goes, hey, I don't want you to think I'm crazy or anything, but I gotta tell you something about me. And I'm like, what? And she goes, well, you see, I can see dark things. It's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, I can see dark things. And right now, they are so mad that you are talking to me. Sound familiar? And, I'm just like, I've heard this before. Someone said this to me long ago. That dark things were mad that I was talking to them. She's like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but she's like, what are you exactly? And I'm like, I'm just a horny bastard. I don't know. And she's like, well, why are they getting all pissed off just that you're talking to me? I'm like, I don't know, but it seems to be a recurring theme. I have no idea. I don't know what the deal is. Like, I don't know why things would be mad that I'm talking to chicks. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I mean, once is one thing, and then twice is another. I mean, I don't know. That's just odd. So, it turns out, I mean, she herself, like my ex-wife is also someone pretty knee-deep in the paranormal and stuff, and, to her, that's not shocking. I mean, it is, but it isn't, I mean, we all, those of us who have shit go on in the paranormal are not shocked after a while to certain things. But yeah. So, okay, there we go. Yeah. So, fast forward again. I'm there, oh God, what the fuck? That's really not that good. So, fast forward beyond her, and I mean, I'm not trying to brag, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm not trying to be cute about this, I'm just telling you, I have cybered about, I don't know, about nearing 700 women. I've cybered, text, chat, or otherwise, about 700 women. I've even met some of them in public, or, in a real life, and banged them there too. But it's like, the thing is, it didn't end with my ex-wife, and it didn't end with this chick. It happened with another person. Another person later on, months later, same thing. I'm talking to her, and she's like, okay, I don't want you to think this is weird. I'm like, oh no, are you fucking joking? And sure enough, that is exactly what she said. That is exactly what she said. She's like, I see dark things, and they are mad that you are talking to me. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. And I mean, what the fuck? It's just, coincidence stops being coincidence after a while, I mean, you can't call something coincidence when it keeps on happening and it's so violently specific as that. I mean, that's not a coincidence, okay? That's something telling you something, or something that is just so based on just how things are. I mean, when was the last time you dated someone, or even got frisky with someone, and they're like, hey, I can see dark things, and they're mad at me, or mad at that we're talking? Yeah, does that happen ever to anyone? No, of course fucking not. Jesus Christ. And, I mean, when you try to look at it from a skeptical viewpoint, what could it mean? I mean, does it mean that these chicks have all seen dark things, and that they have all seen them mad that I am talking to them? I mean, the only rational thing I could think of is, A, they're all liars, and only combined with B, that there must be some kind of media or novel or movie or show out there that mimics those words, but I haven't been able to find that. And, once again, I have to believe they're all lying to me, and I have to believe that they're all getting it from the same source, which, I mean, other than that, What possible skeptical approach can I take to this? There is none. I don't see any way out of it. I don't see any way out of not calling that paranormal. I mean, they'd have to be lying. They'd all have to have watched the same thing, and they all have to be flaky enough to actually say that. But I don't know of any media where that exists. Is there a TV, movie, book, show out there, whatever the fuck, that says I can see dark things and they're mad you're talking to me as people are fucking? I mean, is there something like this? I have no idea. But that's the only skeptical approach I can take before I go, okay, well, clearly shit's happening, you know. I mean, clearly. And, you know, while we're on the subject of cybering and being frisky online, it doesn't end there. Oh, fuck no, does it not. The thing I also had with a lot of chicks is I'll be talking to them. Well, not talking. What am I saying? We're fucking screwing like fucking crazy online, you know? Be it in text or be it in a cam, you know, like physically in cam doing it, or anything else like that. I've had a lot of chicks say, it's like, okay, God, there's no way to talk about this to not sound like a perv, but I would be fucking with them. They'd be fucking with me, and things would be getting good, and then suddenly they would freak out. They would freak out, and I'm like, oh God, a crazy. And I'm like, what's the matter? And they're like, oh my God, somebody's in the room with me. And I'm like, what? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, somebody's in the room with me. This is scary. And I'm like, well, how did they get in? When did they enter? I didn't hear anything. And they're like, just a minute, and they go away. It almost happens like that every time. They go away, and I'm sitting there like, oh great, what? I'm just gonna see like blood splatter across the camera in a second. And they come back, and they go, oh, okay. And I'm like, what do you mean, okay? And they're like, it's okay. I'm like, let me get this straight. You just told me that somebody was in the room with you, and and you were scared shitless. I go, why is it okay now? And like one said, she goes, I'm pretty sure it was you. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I got the feeling from it that it was you, that you were here for a moment. I'm like, that's really weird. It's like, no, I'm right here. I mean, obviously, I'm like a country away from you. I mean, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, I know, but I think somehow that was you, and nothing scary. I'm not scared of it at all. I'm like, okay, you know, and that's cute. Holy shit. And it, like I said, this happened with multiple. I mean, I guess that's part of the attraction that I've had to cybering online and stuff. It's because shit does happen. It's like, I mean, other than the fact of getting off and getting someone else off, there was the interest of what happened with my wife and what happened with the other person, where, you know, they said the same exact thing. They said the same exact thing, like 2-3 people, maybe even fourth, if I recall. But, you know, you mess with that many chicks and you hear interesting stuff. I mean, not just about life, not just about women in general. You're not just learning about women. You're also hearing the weird shit, too. And that is certainly the weird shit. So, yeah, I mean, how do I... Man. and like one person, you know, same thing. It's like, we're messing around, things are getting good, I'm thinking they're about to get off, and I'm about to get off, and then it's like, at the last moment, all of a sudden they start freaking out. Well, they weren't even freaking out, they're used to this kind of stuff. And they're like, hold up, something's here. I'm like, oh, fuck, you know, and I'm expecting the freak out to happen and all that shit, but no, they come back, and they're like, yeah, there's something here. And I'm like, what's it like? And they're like, well, it's kind of bright. It's humanoid. And, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking of, like, Naruto or some shit. But, you know, they're like, it's bright, and it's, like, it's just there, and it's calm. And they're like, yeah, I think that's you. I'm pretty sure that's you. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes, you know, because, you know, I'm right there. I'm just this guy fapping like I said, a country away practically. many hours away from them. And, they're all calm about it. They're like, yeah, that's cool. I can see you. And, likewise, with one or two chicks, while I didn't see them, there would be times where I would get the impression of, being knee-deep in the sex. And I would get back online, and they're like, so how you feeling? I'm like, do I have to say how I'm feeling? And they're like, yeah, that's me. In other words, they were fucking with me, and they knew they could, and they were projecting very squishy images into my head, and very squishy, tangible feelings to me, which is just hilarious, and, sexy too, but funny. More funny than anything. Yeah. I think I'll stop it right there, because if I keep talking about women and sex and stuff, I'll end up making this a really long video, and I don't want to do that. So I'll stop that right there and get to the rest tomorrow or the next video.